So we had this new client that never worked with us before. And we told him about design fees. I think design fees for what? Upper plan even is nice, but I feel like for Nigerian context, I don't think that it really works for us. When I travel, when I go to hotels, wherever I'm expressed, the first thing I look out when I'm looking for a space is, what does the bathroom look like? Because if the bathroom is good, I can sleep on a somewhat bed. But you see the bathroom, I can't.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Design Diaries with LSA Home. I'm Lola D and this is
Shimadibai.
Yeah. So today we have the incredibly talented Folakemi Oloye. She is the creative director and founder of Teal Harmony. Welcome, Folakemi.
Thank you so much for having me.
Right, okay. So this is where we sort of have conversations with interior designers and just get to know a bit more about their journey, how it's been in the design space in Nigeria, just conversations really. So the name Teal Harmony, that's a bit of the color, I know the color teal, but I'm just wondering what inspired that name?
So first, I'd started thinking about wanting to study interior design, and when I originally thought about it, I thought about it from a Yellow Pages point of view.
Okay.
And this was also because I was doing up my home. I'd had horrible experiences with vendors, artisans, all that stuff. And I was just like, no, there must be a better way of doing this. Nobody needs to go through the same thing. So I didn't originally start out as an interior designer. But I then found out that of the services that I was trying to offer at the time, the one that had like a natural inclination was interior design. And obviously what that meant was that I needed to go back and rethink the whole thing. So I was thinking, I was like, what name do I call this business? And you know how it is now, you do like a lot of research, you've seen all kinds of things, Oyinbo, English, everything. You're like, what do we do? Then I've always liked the color teal. One of the reasons why I like the color teal is because it's very versatile. The way teal is so interesting. Teal can go towards green and then it becomes teal green. It comes to the middle, it becomes half and half. It can go to the other extreme, it becomes teal blue.
Blue, yes.
And I love how versatile it was, also because, when you think about color theory, you think about how blue stands for integrity and green stands for fertility. Green stands for like wealth, green stands for earth, organic. And so this way, when I thought about it, I was like, okay, what are the things that I would like to be known for? And so those were some of the decision making that drove teal as a color. But then again, we couldn't just be teal.
Teal, yes.
So when you look at the principles and elements of design, harmony is one of them. And I just it for me was just a natural fit, which is, I as a person, one of the values I hold there is that when anybody meets me or come in contact with me, they must always have that sense of like togetherness, like a sense of wholesomeness. Yes, so I want that to also be experienced in like
in your design.
in design, in how we put together ourselves, even as a team. Making sure that we're bringing different aspects of maybe halves and making it into something that is whole. And so it's just that sense of completeness where everything is in sync, in right proportion. So yes, and that's how Teal Harmony came about.
That's amazing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You never know with names. People give businesses and things names, and until you hear from the mind that created that name before you know.
And I've got to be honest, right? A lot of this happened also because I'm a faith person.
Right.
And so it wasn't just one of those things. It was also it was inspired as well. So yes, there is the scientific part of it, but then it was also inspired. So let me give credit
To whom is due.
Yes, sir.
Almighty. Absolutely. So going on from there, how would you describe your design style? what inspires you? How do you go about designing the spaces you design?
Fantastic. So one thing that I always want is, and it's because, you know, I see a lot of like beautiful, now we have like digital, but before you had magazines. So every time I travel, I'll buy like stacks of interior design magazines, and I'd see a lot of them, and sometimes they looked so picturesque. Like there were things that when you saw them, you didn't feel like you could stay in them. It just felt like, you know, I have to respect the space when I come in. And even me, I must be put together, because everything is just like, if you just mistakenly, something could just topple. And that's one thing that definitely defined how I wanted our designs to be, which is that lived in luxury. It must feel beautiful, intentional, well put together, but it must also have that sense of home. And even when we do office spaces, when we do anything that we're doing, you're very unlikely to see that sense of sterility where everything is just like stuck in its place. I don't believe in it. I don't agree with it. And what that means is that it defines materials, even planning, like floor plan layouts, how we plan every single thing. And when you think about lived in luxury, it also means that when you come into a space, you feel it, and you're looking at it and saying, oh, there's an emotion that comes out of you. Sometimes that emotion, you can't even pinpoint what it is, but you feel settled, you feel at peace, you feel like regulated. And that's something that is very important to me when we're designing. What that now means is that sometimes you may not have one feature that is a wow factor, just because for me, I don't necessarily see it as that one thing that pulls a design together, because at the end of the day, harmony must be playing together. And yes, and you know, the truth is that for harmony to happen, obviously you need to have contrast, you need to have all of those things happening, right? But in doing that is that it is very, very intentional. Like that is, every single material, finish, texture is intentionally picked, layered properly, so that when you come into that space, it's just, you can come in and just, you don't know why you feel relaxed. You don't know why you know that it's okay to let my hair down. You don't know why, you know, you're at work and you're not in a hurry to go home because you're there. It keeps you there. And psychologically, if you stay back, you'll do more work.
Absolutely.
Most likely, you'll get more productivity out of that person.
Absolutely.
And if you bring it back to retail, the more someone stays in store, the higher their likelihood to buy.
Absolutely.
Because what will happen is maybe they didn't see something at first, then they see it later, and they're like, oh, okay, you know what, add that to it. That is increased. So at the end of the day, design for me is that lived in luxury that helps us to, you know, sort of like keep that person whole, centered. They're not in a hurry. And it's sort of like an escape from, like when you get into somewhere, you should be able to say, you know what, I'm in this place and I want to enjoy the moment. And not always in a hurry to the next thing. So,
interesting.
I think that the real work is in making it seem like there's no work that you've put in.
Yes.
Because you said, you know, it's different things. You can't say it's just one statement thing. It's a mix of different things coming together. And I think that's more difficult to pull off.
Absolutely more difficult.
Where you have to combine.
I think a lot of people start from one thing and try to build out from that. And you are going from outside in, making everything harmonious.
Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, it's design thinking first before the process. So if you originally know what it is that you're trying to achieve, then everything else can build up. But if you're starting from like one material or one feature, I kind of feel like it limits a lot of
True.
So yeah.
Okay, I mean, you've been in this space for a while, a good number of years.
Yes.
So just wondering, how has the design landscape changed over the years? Like, would you say it has even changed? Would you say, or it's been the same, or what do you think?
No, I absolutely think that it has changed, and I love the change that has come with it. I love that first there's technology.
Yes.
Technology coming on board has made us, it gives us access to more knowledge. Unlike before, where if you wanted to get information about something, it was harder to get it, or you would have to, again, maybe buy books, buy all of those things. Now you can do ebooks,
Right.
you can do e-learnings. There's just so much that allows you to be a better informed designer. And being a better informed designer means that even in the choice of the materials that you're doing, you're not just, before, for you to even get information on material, like I want to do wallpaper, but maybe I want to do wallpaper in a bathroom, and that means that the level of the data sheets, all the specs that I need to be able to get that information, it can just be so tough getting it. Sometimes you're doing emails back and forth, but now website technology, it's there, it's ready, it's available, you're making decisions quicker, faster. That has a downside as well.
Right, yeah, we say that.
Yes, because the downside to it is now clients are like, oh, well, what's the big deal? Why can't I get it any sooner? You know, what's there? Is it not just for you to do that?
So they sort of take things for granted now?
Yes, we take design process for granted. I've had conversations around, I was there one day, just put it in the thingy, put the floor plan around, and the design should be out. I'm like, nope, design don't work like that. And definitely not good design. Any design that is thought through takes time, because a lot of times, some of the clarity you need may be happening weeks, months into the design. That's the clarity you need. And it's not because you're not following whatever that plan is. It's just, it's creativity, you know? So you wake up one morning and the juices are, So how do you put a timer on that and say design should come out now? And in a way, sadly, you get more generic design as well. And so you see that a lot of designs now, if we're going to do it faster and you're not giving us enough time, then you're most likely going to get something that is more generic.
Right.
And so it then becomes a function of what do you want? Is it what's important to you? Some people just want to have like a nice home that is beautiful, that represents them. And some people want more, you know, they want aspired spaces and the likes. But you know, when you think about it, I do think that when I think about the landscape of when I started versus where we are now.
How many years ago was that?
10 actually.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
10. So when I think about the landscape of when I started and where we are, I love what has really happened, especially with younger designers as well. I love what's happening with like and when I say younger designers, it's not an age thing, but in terms of like people that are just coming into the design. Yes, in coming into the design business. I love what has happened to them. You know, even just watching how they move, how they're thinking, it's very inspiring, you know. So it's interesting. It's a low, you know, it's one of those careers that has low barrier of entry, right? And so what that means is that there's constantly like
competition.
And then there's also a lot of mediocrity.
Almost an all-comers game.
It's an all-comers game. There's a lot of mediocrity. But I was listening to but one thing that we must say is that as Nigerians, we're actually super creative.
I agree, 100%.
We are very, very creative. So as much as it's an all-comers game, you're seeing expressions that you never saw before, you know, and honestly, I'm really excited about what is going on. Yes, and eventually I feel that what would happen is the wheat will be sieved from the shaft. We will begin to see more professionalism, we'll begin to see more character and depth in the design. But in the meantime, I think it's fantastic. So
Fantastic.
yeah, great.
So you mentioned technology, and I was wondering, these days, do people come and tell you, AI will generate this thing for me in seconds?
Let me give you a very interesting one. So we had this client that reached out to us, you know, because for us, our design process is, you know, first after we're done with the consultation, that we go into the design concept development. But before we do concept development, we charge design fees, and our designs don't go out without those, right? So we had this new client that never worked with us before. And we told him about design fees. Like, design fees for what? Don't worry, just come and do execution for me. Keep your design.
I'll give you.
And so, really and truly, puts his floor plan into AI and does the floor plan and brings it out for us to execute. Yes, right? And then this floor plan comes out. On paper, it looks great. But you see, what people don't understand is that when you're doing floor plans, there is the scale and proportion that makes all the difference in why there's a two-seater that is 1.8 meters, another two-seater is 2.2 meters, another two-seater is 1.6 meters. So, and they are all two-seaters. Now, if you do not understand dimension, you will just see that the mode and just drop it into the floor plan and assume
it's going to work.
And then we now want to walk around it to now see that from the sofa to this, maybe it's like a 10 cm. Human being cannot, even if you went on the side, you still can't go past.
Right.
And I feel like that's one of the things that, yes, AI can do it, and AI is getting smarter for sure. But there's definitely the place of human being, because I feel like when you think about interiors, it's about how people feel inside the space, and a lot of it is around things like circulation, the size of the scale and proportion. You understand? How does this thing feel just and against that? And AI may get there, I suspect. But you see that sense
human
of
touch, yes.
Getting that feeling, and feeling is intangible. I don't see AI being able to do that. Technology has definitely gone a long way. Of recent, we signed on with a partner for our retail store that allows us to use augmented reality. Yes. So what happens now is, if you're buying furniture from those partners, we can actually put that furniture in your space real time, and you can look at it and say, I change it to brown, I want a different stone, I want a different metal. You can do you can feel the furniture and decide whether, okay, I want it against this wall, maybe I've changed my mind and done all of that. So that makes buying decision a lot easier. Unlike where you're like, is it this brown, maybe lighter, maybe darker. Now you want it darker, it's just a button, it's darker now. Okay, I don't want that stone anymore. So technology is definitely like a plus. I'm super excited about what it's doing.
I have no idea how it's going to end, or how it's going to keep going with this technology, AI, artificial learning.
We'll see.
We'll definitely see. But it's exciting times.
Yes.
Exciting times. When we think about so if you think about like when we had like this whole social media situation and how that has evolved, and you look at like the most recent one, TikTok, you just see that technology is like super exciting. I think that at the end of the day, we just need to be very open-minded, willing to learn and change and pivot and see what it does for us. But I think it's just going to make things leaner. I'm so for it.
Nice.
So do you think trends have a way of impacting your design?
So I personally, trends are fantastic and I think they're great, but I realize that the people that we cater to, the people that like what we do and like our design, are not typically looking for trends. And when you think about it, if you were doing your home, that's your house. It's your personal.
For you, yes.
It's your personal sanctuary. Obviously, if that person likes trend, then trend will get in there. But typically, we don't necessarily have trends driving what we're doing.
Wow.
We could do trends around maybe technology, the fastest way to get something out. But in terms of like trends, in terms of like, oh, this is the new, I don't know, maybe like color drenching now seems to be in, and saying, okay, this is the new wave of things. There's nothing wrong with it. And I think it's fantastic, but I feel like it's just different expressions for different people. Yeah, but I find that most of the people that we work with are not as
trend driven. So at the end of the day, it's still an individual thing. You really just want to showcase the personality of
personality.
clients.
And you know, if you're even talking in terms of like corporate design, it's like your design is solving a problem for them.
True that.
And so trend may be able to solve that problem, but not necessarily. You know, so for me, design is intentional. So if the trend helps you, sure. But I personally is like, design is centered around the user. So it's what the user wants. And typically we attract users that prefer designs that are speaking to something that they're solving for. So yeah.
Fantastic. So when you design a home, which spot or which part of the home is your most favorite?
I like most?
Yes.
You know, it's so interesting. I used to be so afraid of bathrooms.
Oh.
I used to be so afraid of bathrooms. Like,
Why that?
Why? Maybe the plumbers have scarred you.
It's just when I think about the number of design decisions in determining what a bathroom looks and feels like, that used to scare me. But
I
because
would never have thought you look like
Yes.
a bathroom.
yes,
Wow.
bathrooms, guest toilets, they're smaller spaces, and so you're doing so much with them, and there's a lot of thought process into making sure that when I'm in that space, I don't feel the size of the space. You know, so there's a lot of like decision on decision on decision. Why is this? Why this? Why that? Why that? Why that? Why that? And then I find that I have superpower in bathrooms.
No.
I think what happened was because I was so afraid of it,
you
I
locked
went
in.
into
You
it
locked
with
in.
more force. And so it's so interesting. Like when I look at space, and I've always had a pet peeve about bathrooms. As
Okay.
well. Like when I travel, when I go to a hotel, wherever I'm experiencing, the first thing I look out when I'm looking for a space is
It's the bathroom.
what does the bathroom look like? Because
Right.
if the bathroom is good, I can sleep on a somewhat bed. But you
Right.
see the bathroom, I can't
Deal with that at all.
It's so important to me because it's a place of even some level of mental clarity, you know, so I can't. So I do think bathrooms, I like bathrooms. So yes, I do.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so if you were to give just one tip, like what's your go-to design tip? Like every time, that's like one thing you would always reference.
Yes, my go-to design tip is texture. Texture on texture on texture on texture. I feel like that's that layering that gives it that sense of home. It gives it that sense of being lived in. Of course, it takes experience and knowledge to layer textures properly.
Yes.
Yes, but
Because if it's not done properly, it becomes
it's chaotic.
yes.
It just becomes like, what's happening here? But once you do it right, it's that small extra difference that brings that warmth into the space. So yeah, texture for sure.
So on a lighter note now, I want to ask what's the most outrageous request you've received from a client?
Wow,
Out of
maybe
the
more than one. Maybe
She has stories to tell.
Let me see. Most outrageous request. Let me see. I'm trying to pull from my archives. I think I've gotten such thick skin.
And nothing shocks you anymore.
No, very rarely. I might
Like bring it on.
in my mind, I'm like, most likely not new. I faced this somewhere somehow, you know. I think what it is that when I think back on it, I feel that like attracts like. Like attracts like, and as style in a way kind of filters. As style in a way kind of filters, it doesn't attract a lot of people. And when I say a lot of people, like it doesn't attract.
it's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody.
So
And
you do have a target. You
Yes.
and you attract your
So automatically, it would attract more understated luxury people, not people that are looking for anything that is like over the top or in your face. And what that means is that most of those people are well traveled, well exposed. You know, there's so much with them that chances are they're coming with something that is like outrageous. It's very
Very slim.
in actual fact, I find that most of the people that really attract us are people that are like second homeowners.
Right.
So like you've done your first home, you had a bad experience, but now you know what it is that you want, and you're looking for someone that has that style and has capacity and is able to execute along those lines. Those are the people that come there. And so by the time you've done maybe your first home, you had already said something like,
you made the mistakes.
you made the mistakes.
Yeah.
Now you're like, you know what? I'm going to trust a professional to do it. So we attract more second homeowners, third homeowners. Like you've done the first one, you've moved up in life, you're in a better space, you're likely to be our clients. And most times they're not looking for anything over outrageous. But if I were going to think back on like maybe when we first started in terms of maybe people asking for weird things, maybe the word is not weird,
Right.
but if I were going to think back about things like that, I would say maybe having experience. And I think that most of those conversations I won't even say they were even necessarily outrageous either. I won't say they were necessarily outrageous, but it also helped us to just push our envelope in design, to push things. So I'll just
Okay. So we're going to ask you some questions, like a this or that.
Go for
this
it.
or that. So you can explain or just answer, just choose the option you prefer. Okay, so let's do it. Soft carpet or hardwood floor?
hardwood floor.
Right, okay. Any particular reason?
Hardwood floor, because when I think about time, I think hardwood floors will stand the test of time over soft carpets. Soft carpets are good. I like soft carpets. You wake up in the morning, your feet touches the carpet first thing before it hits the tile or the floor. Because I feel like when your feet hits that tile, it's very jarring.
Yeah.
So that soft carpet is good, but when I think about wear and tear, I'll go for hardwood. And hardwood is beautiful.
Yeah, if it's done well.
Yes, and wood in all its form is really pretty. Like
True
wood
that.
is such an
Grains.
amazing. Yes, the
Texture.
grains, the vein,
Yeah.
everything. It's just.
Yes.
So, yes.
Okay.
Hardwood. Yes.
Second question: monochromatic colors or vibrant mix?
Monochromatic.
Monochromatic.
I could guess that.
You could have guessed. Monochromatic. Monochromatic allows for a lot of versatility. It allows you to be able, it's timeless. It allows your space to be able to grow with you, so that you're not fixed in something and then wake up one morning and say, oh, I'm done with this era of my life. Now is this. But with monochromatic, it allows, it's a more robust design. And it can be much harder to do.
I would
Harder to pull.
yeah, I would have
Definitely
said
harder
yeah.
to pull.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. Scented candles or reed diffusers?
Scented candles for sure. Scented candles. I like scented candles. Scented candles because it takes a while for the scent to come out, but when it comes, it stays. It stays. It diffuses evenly, unlike the way diffuser will just like diffuser is like Yoruba people call it shagbeloju. It will just come and hit you, boom. You're like, oh, nice. But a candle is just, and it's warm. It's nice. It sets mood. You can use it as, and it does multiple things as well. It gives you indirect light. A candle for sure.
Okay. So gallery wall or statement piece?
I didn't think this would be hard for you.
You know what? Because I love art.
Right.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
you
sure,
do art
sure.
as
Yes,
Sure, you
yes.
do, you do
So
art.
I'm torn between a gallery wall where you get like a lot of like expressions, or you do like one massive piece and is unforgettable. Both.
No, you have to choose one.
I think it would also depend on the space.
Yes.
Sometimes maybe a gallery wall, other times just a statement piece.
But you know what? If I were going to choose, I'll pick a statement piece. The reason why I just decided on a statement piece over a gallery wall is because sometimes gallery walls, you know how something it can just shake and then another one is off kilter, and it can look disorganized if it's not spaced well, if it's not properly done.
Yes,
But if you have a statement piece, you're dealing with just one thing.
One item. And it's just,
It's one now.
True.
Yeah, so
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Open plan living or cozy nooks?
cozy mix.
Right.
Cozy mix. Open plan living is nice, but I feel like for Nigerian context, I don't think that it really works for us. Except you end up having like another, maybe like a soup kitchen somewhere or something. But if
We
what?
have
with
all the soups
The
and
locust beans and
the oil.
and our food is delicious.
Yes.
But our food is slow cooking.
Absolutely, it takes time.
And if you want to make something with palm oil, you first that palm oil needs to. So I don't know about open plan because I've lived in open plan. I lived in open plan for years, and I initially it was great, and then after a while you kind of like just detest it because if they're cooking, you can't even enjoy TV, or if you're cooking, the whole place just takes on the. It's not for. It's for Oyibo. It's for Oyibo.
so that's one of those things that people are just, would I say, just
Adopted,
adopt?
yeah,
Not
in
necessarily
Nigeria,
because
not
it suits
necessarily
our lifestyle.
exactly.
but,
Does not
Exactly.
not all this our delicious.
Okay.
But I find that a lot of people now are building soup kitchens.
Yes. So they would have.
So that makes sense.
They
If
will
you
have the show kitchen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where really they're not doing so much.
Exactly.
And then
So
the
that's
main
more like
cooking
breakfast,
happens,
Exactly.
cold foods, quick foods, and then that main like
It's done.
and so you get to enjoy it without experiencing.
If you have the space, I think that's a good.
That's a good mix.
absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
So if there's a soup kitchen, definitely open plan over nooks.
Artificial plant or natural plant?
Natural plant too. Natural plant. I know they're hard work. I know all of that, but when we understand like what plants do for us, even for our health, when you think about grounding and all these things, natural plants. There's so much concrete now, like everywhere.
Yes, like
It's too much.
homes are built without any green at all.
I'm telling you, you're fighting for green space. It's the
They actually build every
Everywhere,
space
yeah.
it's too
without
much.
leaving space for
So you
green
move
at all.
from the road to the car park, from the car park to the house. Everything is concrete.
Everything.
So more natural plants, please.
Okay, last question. Soft lighting or bright lighting?
Soft lighting for sure. And when I think about, I feel like soft lighting, and then you have natural light to support it. But definitely soft lighting, because as the day moves from night, morning, all of that, you get support, and then in the evenings you don't want that level of like jarring light.
Yes. So you want it calmer.
Yes, soft lighting for sure. Me, I don't understand like bright lights. I don't. Most times I'm like, just switch it off. Let's just have, what is light for? And that's something that upsets me as well. I feel like a lot of times people don't plan lighting design, and so it's just bright. Why?
And all the spots like.
I was looking at the space today, and I was telling the person, I said, the lights in this place needs to be reduced. I said, what? I said, yes, you've got too many lights.
In a home?
Yes, you've got too many. Why? Gosh, what are we doing? It's not like it's not exam hall now. So yeah.
Okay, so thank you so much, Folakemi, for coming, and we had a good conversation, I'd say. So what are your final thoughts? What are you leaving us with?
What am I leaving with? Well, I think for me, I love what you're doing with this Design Diaries. I think I think that a lot of conversations need to be said around design. Yesterday I was at an event and they kept saying the interior decors here. I had to go and call the organizer.
Oh, wow.
I said, go and warn that person. That's why they think interior decor is the same. You know, some people still will say, "Oh, they are doing an event. All of it is the same." It's like, no, it's not the same. It's so totally the total different disciplines, both creative but different disciplines. So conversations around it just help, you know, to also shape the industry, give it depth, you know. So absolutely, thank you so much for having me. I had a great time. I had a great time with fantastic questions and so nice.
We may come calling again. Please accommodate us.
I'll be very, very, very happy to. Very happy. It's easy. It's natural. We're talking about things that you know already exist. So it's not like So it's not like. You know, it's not like a textbook. So yeah,
nice,
absolutely,
nice.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, until the next episode. Bye, guys.
Bye.